Welcome everyone. We're just going to wait a couple of minutes just so that we've got a bit of time to get everyone logged in. Whilst we're waiting for people to join us, I'm just going to let you know a couple of things about today's session. So the session is going to be recorded so that if there's anything that you want to play back, you'll be able to view it at a later date. Also, we'll be able to put that on our website as well. So if there's anybody who wasn't able to make it, you can let them know that it will be available on the website. Also, if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask, please use the Q&A button. There'll be a section at the end where you can where your questions will be answered. And I think that's about it. I can still see there's a few more people arriving, but I think if we get started, and that's it from me. So over to you, Mandeep. You're on mute now, Mandy.
We'll get there one way or the other. Thanks, Laura. Can I just say thank you to you, Laura, for helping us set this up, and a very warm welcome to everybody that's joined us. I'm Mandeep Gill, Principal and Chief Executive at Nuvig. I'm just going to ask my team to introduce themselves. So, Magdalena.
Hello, everyone. I'm Madeleine Johnson. I'm a Vice Principal, Student Achievement and Progress.
And I'm Martin Reid. I'm the Assistant Principal for Student Services and HR.
Brilliant. Thanks, Martin and Magdalena. I think I'm just going to start by saying a huge congratulations and well done to all the students. Again, it's been a very, very difficult year in terms of how we've had to work with COVID. The students have been absolutely amazing, and I'm so proud of them. And also a very big well done to the staff who've been able to really support our students through some very difficult times. And, you know, we've got to the end of the year. It's been a very strange experience compared to what we were once used to, but nonetheless, we are where we are. And I'm really proud of both staff and students for getting us this far. And now that we've got to the end virtually, of course, I know everybody's now eagerly anticipating their results and what might be their next steps. So today's webinar is really just to talk you through the process that we've been through so far and what happens next now that the assessments have been submitted to the relevant exam boards. When will results come out and how will you get your results? So I'm going to share a document with everybody that's come through from the JCQ. If you bear with me as I just share my screen. Now, hopefully you can see that. Martin, can you just nod that you can see the screen? Yep, brilliant, thank you. Okay, so this has actually come through from JCQ, the Joint Curriculum Qualification. Magdalena, JCQ, remind me.
Joint Qualifications Council.
JQC, that's what I'm getting wrong. Joint Qualifications Council, thank you. So just to let you know, this is what we've done so far. It's broken up in 3 sections. So what's happened so far, what happens next, and what happens when the results are released. So in terms of how we've managed the process so far, students have completed their studies. Obviously, we've made sure that it's either been online or on site. We ran a model of 50% being online and 50% being on site, until we brought all students back on site once we were allowed to do so. But we've ensured that that journey of their learning is absolutely carried on, and we've tried to keep it as smooth as we possibly can in the current climate. It talks about there, it says you may have completed additional assessments in the last few months to support with summer 2021 grading. So what we've done as an organisation is we've made sure that we had a very clear policy. This policy has been on our website. It's also been on parent portal and emailed out to staff and students. And what this policy has been approved by the various awarding bodies that we work with, just to reinforce the fact that they're happy with the position and the strategies that we've taken to make sure that students are graded appropriately. So students will have done assessments in the last few months, and it says your teachers will have decided your grades by selecting a range of your work. And that's exactly what we've done. So we've been very clear on what evidence we would be using. And again, this has been on the website and emailed out to all students and parents. And we've also been very clear on what evidence we're not using. I'm just going to hand over to Magdalena just to talk us through, as an example, of some of the stuff that we've used as evidence So Magdalena?
Yeah, so we had a particular range of evidence that we were using for certain qualifications. So if I firstly start with GCSEs and A-levels, we've used a range from mini assessments, our in-class test, homework, SMAs, also a range of mock exam and controlled assessments. And for certain subjects that do non-exam assessments, we use those as well, whether they were completed or not. We still that still contributed to the final grade. For vocational qualifications, there was a slightly different approach because of the breadth of the qualifications and the programs that we run. But by and large, we focus on including our banked and completed units, where they were completed for the students. We also used evidence from incomplete units, as well as our standard monitoring assessments, our SMAs. We've also done mock exams, and in certain vocational areas, like for example, childcare, we've used some adjusted methods to reflect our deliveries, for example, professional discussions, presentations, and a variety of other media-based sources. So as you could see, there was quite a wide range of evidence that contributed to the final holistic grade that we then submitted to various awarding bodies by the national deadline.
Thanks, Magdalena. And as you can see there, it talks about how grades were checked by teachers and the head of department and the head of school. So we had a very, very robust process. We ensured that all the grades were checked, they were audited, they were rechecked before they were checked by heads of curriculum and before checked by the vice principal, finally being signed off by myself, that we'd gone through a robust checking process, which of course is very, very important for us because we want to ensure that we're giving the right grade to all the students. And then it says at the bottom there, your college or college sent your school or college sent your grades to the exam boards by the 18th of June. We absolutely met this deadline. We had talked about this deadline with students, with staff, and with parents. Again, it's on our website. We'd emailed it out several times. That was an absolute deadline. It was non-movable. So all the results that we had checked, rechecked, audited, signed off as correct, had to be submitted by the 18th of June. And I'm really pleased to say that we met that deadline for all of our students. So that was the deadline that we met. So once we have submitted the grades, what then happened was each of the, it says there, actually let's take it point by point so I don't miss anything. It says there to make sure that we were informed about any special circumstances such as illness that may have been impacted on your performance and used as evidence. So where we were made aware of this, where we had the evidence for this, we absolutely took that on board. And of course, it says there, we've used, need any special circumstances, illness that may have impacted on your performance. Some people very sadly had bereavements. As long as we had the evidence, we took that into account. And that was also part of how we looked at the grading process. Your teachers have now sent exam boards examples of the evidence-based some students' grades. So what's happened is we've been asked by each exam board to send samples of works. Those samples are picked randomly, and they then check the work and look at the grade that we've awarded these students and then confirm whether those grades are correct based on the judgments we've made. Magdalena, do you want to just give a little bit more information about that, please?
Yes, so in terms of obviously the checks, each awarding body has provided us with a list of students they wanted to see, and they wanted to ensure that the evidence that we provided matched the grades. And as part of the process that we had to go through, we were also doing additional checks on all the samples that we were then sending to awarding bodies. So as Mandeep was already mentioned, it's been an extremely long and thorough process that we had to go through. Not only do we have to follow our own internal policies and procedures around quality assurance, but we also needed to ensure that we follow our awarding bodies and JCQ guidance. So we had to look forensically at all the pieces of work just to make sure that everything that was sent off was absolutely correct and submitted, most importantly, to awarding bodies by set deadlines. So what was expected from us, we had to submit the evidence within 48 hours, which was again a national deadline. And as an organisation, we met all the deadlines.
Brilliant, thanks Magdalena. And you can see there that the board's obviously taking samples of the work that we've sent and making sure the grading process and the grades were appropriate. And then the final point, just to make sure that students and parents have confidence that grades have been fully checked by schools and colleges, and the grading process has been externally reviewed by the exam boards. So it wasn't just us that were grading it, through all of our processes and our checks and systems. It was then sent externally to different awarding bodies so they could also check it and be satisfied that we'd followed our policies, we'd followed their policies, and that we had graded accurately. So what happens next? In terms of the next stage of the process, we'd hand over to Martin just to talk us through about what happens on results day.
Thanks, Mandeep. Yeah, and as you'll see here, this talks you through the process, which is the same at our college, but the same for everybody nationally. So you receive A-level, AS level and level 3 grades. They're available on the 10th of August. GCSE and level 2 grades are available on the 12th of August. Okay, so those are the 2 dates when you can get your grades. You can then confidently progress to your next steps, whether that's in higher education, further education, or into employment. Once you've got those grades, they will be the things that you'll use for the next stage, whatever you've done up to this point and whatever you're wanting to do next. If you think there's been an error made in deciding your grade, there are details on the appeals process which will be found on the JCQ and exam board websites. And we also there's lots of information on all of this on the college website as well. But if you do feel that you need to appeal, that is open to you. However, it is very important to make the point that the nature of an appeal is that what you've got, the work you've done, is looked at again. And of course, that can mean that the grade could go up, but it could mean it could go down. So you need to think very carefully if you're thinking about appealing before you do, because it's not a thing that means you appeal and the grade can just go up. It can go down as well. So you do need to think very carefully about that. If you want to improve your grade, there will be an exam series in the autumn. So you can improve your grade by doing exams again. Okay, that's the other thing to remember. But if you want to discuss your options, you can come in and talk to us or call the exam results helpline. So if you do want to discuss things with us, once you've got your results, that is something you can do, of course. And the JCQ student guide, which has all this information in it, is available on results day. And it will be available before results day. It's available now and it's on the website, and you can find that at newvic.ac.uk/exams. So that and all this other information, if you want to know more, you can find it all on our website, newvic.ac.uk/exams. Thanks, Mandeep.
Brilliant, thanks Martin. Yeah, and just to reinforce a couple of points, when the results come out for AS A-level and level 3 vocational courses, just remember that you can, those results will be emailed to you. That's how you'll access them. If you do want to come and talk to someone about your results, we will have all the managers on site on the 10th of August. Please do come in and talk to us. Teachers will not be available, they'll still be on leave, but the managers will all be here. So we are here to have a conversation and talk you through it if you've got any concerns or looking for next steps. We will be available. The other thing to reinforce is exactly the same on the 12th of August. When you get your level 2 results, if that's GCSEs or level 2 vocational courses, again, on the 12th, all staff will be here and we will be enrolling from the 12th of August. So you can come in and enroll on the 12th of August, but we'll also be here to support any students that want to talk through their options. The other thing I think is really important to reinforce is appeals. You should really be making an appeal if you feel we've not followed the policy or process. Please read the policies and processes, which, as Martin has said, are all online. www.newvic.ac.uk/exams, all the policies, the processes, the student guide, which is referred to here at the bottom, including this guide that I'm going through, are all on this website. Just remember, if you do want to go down the process of appeal, make sure you've spoken to us first so that we can talk you through what happens. But be absolutely aware that if the grade goes down, that is the grade that will be awarded. We have no control over that, and you've got to be aware of that. In terms of next steps then, so as far as the college is concerned, we've completed all our processes. We've got to the 16th of July for any more requests for checking of our grading and our evidence and our work. After that, we'll have to wait till the 10th of August till results are released, at which point, like I said, we'll be back on site to provide anybody that needs it appropriate support. But more importantly, what we're hoping to do is have a huge celebration on the 10th of August with students coming in, just to share the success. And you know, what's better than seeing students really happy knowing that they're moving on to the next destination, whether that be employment, whether it be university, whether it be apprenticeship. You know, that's, I think, the big step for us, just to see happiness from our students. That's what we're looking forward to. That's our sort of presentation over. So if I stop sharing, and Laura, if we can go across now to any questions, and if you do have questions, can I just remind you to please put them into the chat?
Yep. Thanks, Mandeep. So I've got a question here saying that their son has completed his BTEC level 3 first year, so he has another year to complete. Would he still receive his results?
Yes,
Magdalena?
absolutely. Yeah, so absolutely. So for students on vocational programs, level 3 vocational programs who are progressing on to year 2, the first year was graded and the students will receive the results, and Mandeep and Martin have just explained how the results will be received online via emails. So every single result for the students on a level 3 year 1 program will be received via email.
Okay, great. Thanks, Magdalena. There's another question here. My daughter was allowed extra time. How do you support students with extra time?
So just like during standard examinations, examination years, we've taken into consideration access arrangements, and when the students had particular access arrangements, when we were undertaking additional assessment throughout the year, but particularly between the end of April and the end of May, we've taken those into consideration. So fully aware which students were allowed to, let's say, for example, have extra time or any access arrangements, and that was taken into consideration while we were setting up our assessments. So we wanted to make sure that every student that was entitled to get access arrangement did get them.
Brilliant. Can I just add as well that that was something that we were very clear on in our policy as well, and again it's on the website, that we made sure that no student was disadvantaged. Every student was treated fairly based on their personal situations and conditions, and if they were due any form of access, we made sure that they had it for the assessments. Thanks, Magdalena.
Okay, another one here about the appeals process. Why is it that grades will go up and down if they appeal?
So obviously, just like with the policy that's been set up by JCQ, every single grade was awarded based on the evidence that we've actually have for students. So although we have gone through our processes that were extremely thorough, if we submit a request for appeal externally, we'll be required to provide all the evidence, including written evidence, any evidence that we have got for that particular student, and then external reviewer will be making a judgment based on that evidence. So if for whatever reason they decide that the grade that was awarded was too high, they will lower the grade as a result of the checks, and that lower grade will then need to be kept by the student as the final grade. So as we have already mentioned, it's very important to take this approach very seriously, because we can't go back on the process. Once the lower grade is awarded by the external reviewers, that's the grade that the student will have to keep.
Okay, thank you, Magdalena. So another one here, will results day be online or can we attend college?
So the results day will be online. However, if the students wanted to ask us questions or they've got any particular queries, we're going to have quite a limited staffing capacity. However, our heads of curriculum, myself and the senior leadership team will be on site available to talk to the students. So if there are any particular questions that the students might have or they need support with regards to progressing on to employment, higher education, on apprenticeship, obviously we welcome students on site and we'll be happy to support them. But just to reinforce, our teaching staff will be still on holiday, but our heads of curriculum and senior leadership team will be on site to help the students with any queries that they might have about progressing on to the next destination.
Yeah, can I just add as well, so our manager for information advice and guidance will also be here. So if anybody wants any specific advice about next steps or options, we'll make sure that there's staff here that can support them with those conversations.
Thank you. Another one here, do students in level 2 business need to enroll for the next year to level 3 or are they passed on to level 3 automatically? So I think this talk about internal students progressing.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. So yes, so we've concluded our internal progression activities, and the students who will be progressing with us from level 2 have already been informed about the next steps. However, if there are any particular students that have got questions about the progression and any questions around the course and the level 3 course, we're very happy to support them and very happy to answer the questions in person. But ultimately, through your tutors and also your teachers, you should have already received an indication about your progression onto a level 3.
Yeah, and I think what's important there, Magdalena, is exactly what you said, which is, your progression will be automatic. If there's any concerns for any reason, then please do contact us. We pride ourselves on making sure that we help you progress to your next steps. So as a level 2 business student, you may decide level 3 is your next option, which is brilliant. Your English and maths is obviously important to get the grade 4. You may not quite get the grade you're looking for, or you may get the grade you're looking for. Either way, we will make sure that we support you to progress on something that you want to do. That's the important message there. So do talk to us. That's really important if you have any concerns or any issues.
Thank you. So another one here, so asking about Pro Portal. So the results will be available on Pro Portal, is that correct?
That is correct. So all the results, just like last year, will be available on Pro Portal, but also they will be emailed to students as well. And that's particularly important for students who are progressing on to higher education and need an actual evidence, formal evidence of the grades. So you'll be able to access them on both Pro Portal, but also via your email.
Do you know what time those results will be going live on Pro Portal?
So the results should be available after 9:30 on the results day. So there's a slight delay this academic in terms of our accessibility to national results, but they should be available from 9:30 onwards.
Great. And then we've got a question here, I think maybe from a student that is unrelated to this session, but just asking about when are we coming back to college from the summer holidays? So already keen to come back, which is great.
Brilliant. That's a very good question. So well done for asking that question. So we will be back. So our first day, it's going to be Thursday, 2nd of September. So this is when the students are going to be returning. Those who are completing our autumn induction, so our new students will return slightly earlier before then, but our first day of teaching will be the 2nd of September.
Thanks, Magdalena. And just to let everyone know, the term dates for the next academic year have been published on our website, and I've just put a link to that in the chat. So if you want to see any more dates for next year, they're on there.
Brilliant. Laura, can you make sure that the link to the exams page on the website is also in the chat so people can find that easily if they want any of the information that we've referred to today?
Yeah, that's no problem. I did post it earlier on, but I will just post it again here. So that is also there for you.
Thank you.
There we go. Actually,
just worth saying as well on that student inquiry, as you will know, and especially if you've been a student at the college or indeed any other school this year, there's been lots of disruption as a result of COVID, as a result of the pandemic. We hope that we will be back to opening for full face-to-face teaching on the 2nd of September. We're really, really hoping you're all going to be back with us, but do keep an eye on the news, do keep an eye on the college website. We will update you if anything changes. We know things have changed before, so do keep an eye on those things, but we really, really hope, we've got all our fingers crossed, that we're going to see you all back on the 2nd of September.
Okay, we've got another question here about the exams. So who will mark A-level grades, teachers, or is it external?
Okay, so this academic year, obviously we didn't have exams, so we had assessments that contributed to the final grade. Hence, the grades that we awarded were called teacher assessed grades. So our teachers awarded the grades, and we were talking just a minute ago about our processes. They were then checked by our heads of curriculum, associate principal, the vice principal, and a principal. So there was a thorough process in terms of the grades that have been awarded, and then how they were checked, and then the process of sending them off to awarding bodies. So ultimately, yes, our teachers used a range of evidence to arrive at a particular grade for a subject.
Yeah, I think that's the important part there, Magdalena. It's not like it was last year where there was something called centre assessed grades, where we were just asked to provide a grade. This year, we were asked to provide a grade based on actual evidence. So students undertook specific assessments. Those assessments were marked, they were graded, they were then checked again by another person, marked and graded to make sure that the grading was accurate before being checked by heads of curriculum and the vice principal. So like I said, there's a process here, but it was based on actual work that was set that we marked before coming to a grade. And then there wasn't just one piece of work, there were several pieces of work that were assessed and then marked, and then an overall grade given from all the assessments, which is what we've used as the evidence to support the final grade. Thanks, Laura.
Brilliant, thank you. So a question here about appeals. If someone did want to make an appeal, when are they able to do that?
So once the grades are released, I would obviously urge you, even before then, to actually read the information that we've got on our website. We've got links to all the appeals procedures. Ultimately, the appeal can be submitted in terms of, for students who are progressing on to higher education, they will be given priority access to appeals, and this is the appeals that we'll be considering first. But just to reinforce, the appeal process relates to our admin checks, just to ensure that we've submitted the correct grades. And that is the first part of the process that we're going to be following. Ultimately, even the students decide to go any further and wanted further checks to be undertaken, this is at that point where we'll have to collate all the evidence that we have provided in order to arrive at a grade and submit that evidence to the awarding body. But we've been reassured that students who are progressing to higher education, their appeals will be prioritised.
Yeah, and in terms of the actual dates, if I'm not mistaken, the date that you can actually consider an appeal is once you've got your results, because otherwise you don't know what you're appealing against. So obviously when you get the results, whether that's the 10th of August or the 12th of August, that's when you need to consider, do you want to appeal? But it's got to be based on what's the rationale for the appeal. That's important. So make sure that you know why you're appealing and be absolutely clear that your results can go down. So just bearing that in mind.
Okay, thank you. So I think unless anyone else has got any questions, I think that's it on the questions. So there's no more to come in. I guess I just wanted to, before Mandeep, you have closing words, because obviously we've got some parents here, just to let you know about a couple of events that we have going on next week, some online events that with the Newham Adult Learning Service. So there's lots for you to take part in if you're interested. So if any of your family or if the students here, if your parents would be interested, you can check them out. They're all online and free, and I've just put a link for that as well in the chat there. So yeah, thank you.
Brilliant, thanks Laura. Thank you Magdalena Martin for joining us, really appreciate that. Thank you everybody that's been online, parents and students. I do wish you all a very, very hopefully restful and happy summer, and we really are looking forward to seeing you come September, where I'm hoping, fingers crossed like everybody else is, we'll be in a much, much better position, and we'll be able to get back to some form of normality, and we can really carry on the way that we've always been, is looking after our students and making sure we give them the best education possible. Thank you, everyone. Take care.